enter the room.
Hello, examiner. James number 80888463. Hello.
Hello.
I'm Dr. Najibat. I'm one of the junior doctors here at the GP surgery. Can you confirm your name and age for me, please?
I am Mark and I'm 30 years old.
All right, Margot Stone. Is it okay if I call you Margot while we're discussing? Hello.
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
All right. I understand that you've come here to talk about your son. Could you tell me a little about that?
Yeah, I'm here about my son. I'm really concerned, doctor. I don't know what to do. I'm really scared about him. He wakes up in the middle of the night and he starts screaming. I'm just scared what's happening with him. Please help me.
I'm very sorry you're going through this. It must be very distressing. Um, I'm just going to discuss with you and ask a couple of questions, and we can find a solution to this problem. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Can you tell me the name of your son and how old he is?
My son, he's Mason Stone and he's 5 years old.
Okay. And is Mason currently here with you now?
Yeah, he is.
All right. I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions. You said he wakes up screaming in the middle of the night. Can you tell me how long this has been going on for?
For 4 months now, doctor. Almost every single day he wakes up in the middle of the night.
Oh, that must be very distressing. I'm very sorry you're going through this. And can you, what exactly happens when he wakes up? Does he just wake up screaming, or there are other things that happen too?
Yeah, he sleeps in his bedroom and he just shouts in the middle of the night, so I rush towards him and he just keeps screaming. I don't know what to do. I'm just scared about what's happening with him.
Okay. Hello. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So and how has this affected him in relating to schoolwork and all that?
well, really, he's a very good kid and he's good at academics. So nothing like that. Everything else is okay with him. It's just in the middle of the night he just does this.
Okay. And his bedroom, is it the only one who sleeps in his bedroom?
No, so he just sleeps there.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, he sleeps alone.
Okay. And hello, are there any other developmental issues with regards
No, nothing.
his milestones? All right. Is he being managed for any medical conditions?
No, he's absolutely.
Okay. And is he up to date with all his jabs?
Yeah,
Do you have any other concerns today?
no, this me. I don't know what's happening with him. Please help.
Do you have any ideas what could be causing this situation?
I feel like he might be sick. That's why he wakes up screaming. So I don't know why, but he doesn't remember anything.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to just ask you a couple of more questions so we can find a solution to this problem. Is that okay?
Yeah.
And how has this situation been affecting you in terms of your work?
Well, it's fine. I mean, I can manage with it. It's not a big deal for me personally. I'm just worried about his health and why this is happening with him. So
Is there anything in particular that happened 4 months ago? Like a big life change? Did you have a new partner coming, or did he have a new school?
no, nothing like that. No major changes at all. We always, try to follow a similar schedule so that, he has a good bringing up his childhood and all of that.
All right. Thank you very much for discussing with me and answering my questions. Right now, I'll just like to do a quick examination of Mason. It's a quick head to toe check, and I'm also going to be checking his vitals. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I'll be doing this in the presence of a chaperone, and you're also welcome to stay through the examination.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Okay. So thank you for discussing with me again, and I'm really sorry you have been going through this with your son. Um, from our discussion and my examination findings, I suspect your son may be going suffering from what we call night terrors. They're usually benign condition. It's a condition where, like you said, your child wakes up in the middle of the night screaming, and you try to console him, and sometimes it becomes inconsolable, and it goes on for a period of time. Going forward, I'll be involving my
2 minutes remaining.
seniors so we can formulate a plan to help your son. Usually, we like to try non-medical or non. We try to start managing the condition, not using drugs. So we have other interventions that we would like to put in place vis-a-vis. It could be going. We would like to improve sleep hygiene. We would also be talking to him. We'll also start what we know as talk therapy to help find out if there's anything else going on, and then we can go from there. We'll also be doing some investigations, like we'll take some blood work, some blood just for the general test, like his kidney functions and his liver functions. We'll also check for his full blood count. We'll also be checking for okay, yeah. So we'll just do a full blood work, and I'll also be giving you a leaflet so you can understand more about this condition. There are also support groups that can help you, as dealing with this condition can be very difficult. Do you understand what I've said so far?
Yeah, I just want to know this all of this will subside, or is it like condition that will go throughout its life?
All right, so it's a condition that he will deal with for some time, but with proper management and care, it's something that will subside.
Okay.
All
Is
right,
there anything
sorry, what was your question?
anything that I can do to help him?
Yeah, so when we involve the specialist and the my seniors, we would have tips for you, and also the support groups can help you go through that. Okay.
Okay, okay,
Thank you very much for discussing with me. I wish your son good health.
okay.
Move on to the next station.
That was really good, Doctor. Dr. Tanmay, do you have any thoughts of how the session went before the examiner takes over?
Not really. I think she did
Thank
well.
you.
Uh, I just felt like, a bit more explain in the management part and describing the condition. That's it. Other than that, everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she didn't have enough time at the end, but she managed to cover almost everything that's required for management, especially leaflets, follow-up, and safety netting. And
Yes.
I mean, there are some. So I think you took a lot of time in your data gathering, so you didn't have much time for management. But yeah, I think one thing that we can help with is so we have in the OSCE workbench. There's something called a consultation guide, which actually shows you how you can do this case within 8 minutes. So we basically divided each case into 16 sections, where each section is 30 seconds. So you have an entire, guide for the entire consultation where every point is accounted for. For example, this case, we can just go through the consultation guide. So you can start with your introductions and empathy. This will basically take up the first couple of first minute, including the introductions with your examiner, to the GMC. You're telling your GMC number and all that. So after that, you can start with the current condition, family history, ruling out nightmares. So this is where basically differentials come. So your data gathering has to be very crisp and precise. So whatever you're asking in your data gathering you'll only ask things that you would bring back in your management. So if you're not planning to bring it back in management, there's no point asking that in your data gathering most of the time, because it ends up wasting your time. I think the examiner is ready. We'll just go through your checklist and then we'll come back to this.
Hi, Dr. Nazir. Yeah, well, good performance. I was especially impressed by the data gathering, but I felt you fell a little short with management, because in a case of night terror, I just want to tell you it's a fairly common case. So it's no need to, you don't need to actually escalate it. You were actually doing a lot more than that was required. So initially, this is just the first presentation. So definitely, you would be giving medical, non-pharmacological, treatment, or some lifestyle measures that you would actually advise on. And after that, if it still continues to happen, and if it's not reducing over time, if it's not the frequency is not coming down, that's when you would try to escalate it. But this is something that's fairly common. So I just wanted to tell you that before we jump into the checklist. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
So I especially liked how you confirm the age. You definitely your patient, always when you're going into the station, always have to remember to know who your patient is. So in this case, your patient is the child. So the identifiers of the child need to be confirmed, which you did. I mean, I didn't think you were going to do it, because initially you just asked the identifiers of the mother, but then you did ask the child's identifier. So always going into the station, think about who your patient is, because that is the identifiers that you definitely have to confirm, right? And you asked about the presenting his complaint, like what a concern was. And dig a little deeper. You did ask about since when, the frequency, does he wake up, does he remember, because this is a very important point to differentiate it from nightmares, right? Is he wetting the bed? What are the events that follow after he wakes up, right? What are the events that lead what are the events that lead up to him when he goes to sleep, right? So you need to understand, are there any stimulating activities that he does? Were there any recent stressors that he's had that is causing him some psychological distress, right? Has something happened? That is one good question for us, like when this started, did something happen when this start? So that was a very good question. So try to understand a little bit about this scenario, like what happens to the child before he goes to bed and when he wakes up, right? Understand a little bit about the sleep hygiene, because that is something that you offered, right, in your management. So if you're offering something up in the management, try to understand if it's already being done, right? So does he actually go to sleep at the same time? Does he have a routine? Does he follow a routine? Does he watch TV before he goes to sleep? Any stimulating activity that he's doing, that could actually cause, such an issue. Otherwise, stressors, and understand a little bit about the family history. Like, do you know of any relevant family history? Do you know that anybody in the family having the same kind of an issue, right? Because there is in this, there was a positive family history of his father having a similar tendency. So then this would still indicate that, all right, so this child does have a tendency to have night terrors. So otherwise, one important question that we try to encourage everybody to ask is ICE, because this is when you would actually understand what the concerns of the mother is. So this is a very good question to understand what the task is, what the case is, right? Because you have all this knowledge about night terrors, you have all this medical knowledge about so many different things, but it's not your job to be sitting and giving all the knowledge out. Your specifically supposed to cater to what the patient wants. So try to understand that. Try to understand what her opinion is, right? So that way you're also including the mother in the decision making, in the management plan as well, right? So I think a very good question to ask over here, where you could ask about what do you think it is? Like, try to understand if there's a misconception that she's having, something that you can correct. Try to understand what her concerns are, because that's basically mainly your task. So understanding her concerns, you can actually bring that back in management, right? And what she's expecting from today's consultation. Yeah. And for differentials, definitely rule out nightmares, and as well as if the child is having any infections. Like did he have any recent flu-like episodes? Is he running a fever? Right?
Yeah.
Is he being very cranky?
Yeah. So always think about what's the worst thing that can happen. So in a child presenting with night terrors, worst thing would be some kind of psychological, some kind of infection in the brain causing these issues, right? So that's the worst differential emergency that you would actually have to admit the child. So always try to rule that out first. So here, all you need to ask is if there's any fever, any kind of neck stiffness, that they noticed recently. That will actually rule that out.
Right.
Alright.
And yes, coming to the management. So management, you said a whole lot of things. You said we need to do a lot more investigations. We need to understand, what's going on. I'll call my seniors. This is something that we need to observe very intensely to make sure he doesn't have it again. So, so that's kind of giving a wrong kind of idea to the mother. So the mother will be getting a little more worried. So the main thing about this task is you need to understand what kind of a condition is this. Is it a critical condition? Is it a common condition? Is it something that will lead to any, future disability, deformity? So given that range of things, we would say that it's not very severe and it's something that is fairly common, right? So that is the message that you have to put across. First try to put the mother, the very anxious mother, at ease. And thanks, Dr. Tanmay, that was very great acting. So definitely try to calm her, try to soothe her, try to reinforce that whatever she's doing is all right. Try to normalize the situation, right? Try to make her aware of, what are the things that she needs to do, what are the things that she needs to be prepared with. Because even though the child is going through this is just a normal phase of development. So that's what you need to do. At this point, the major task for you is patient education, the education of the mother. So, address it in that kind of a sense. Try to make the mother understand that from what you told me, I would say this is most likely that your child is having something called night terrors. Have you heard about it? Right? Try to understand how much she knows about this particular condition, because whatever she knows, either you can change any misconceptions that she's having, or add on to the information that she already knows. So in either ways, you will be getting marks, because if she has any misconception, if you correct that you would be getting marks for that. And if she already knows something about it, then you don't have to repeat it. So that means you're kind of saving time.
Yeah.
So try to gauge how much the mother knows once you drop the presentation, the equipment, the diagnosis, right? So every time you are, mentioning the diagnosis, make sure you mention it. This is the only time you'll be actually using scientific terms or medical terms, right? So you have to acquaint them with the terminology that is used for this condition. So night terrors, or even if it's like bombastic diagnosis like pheochromocytoma, make sure you mention that, because this is the only time you should be mentioning medical terms, because they need to know what the condition is actually called, right? After that, explain it in layman terms. Right, try to explain it in a way where they know what it's called and they know what it is, right? So mention the diagnosis. Immediately after that, ask her if she knows anything about it and if she'd like an explanation for it, and then explain it to her that these are fairly common in children of Mason's age, and this usually happens at the deep phase of sleep in the child, right? So that's why when he gets up, he doesn't remember anything, right? So this is something that he will usually grow out of. And if you had asked about the family history, you would have also known that the fathers also suffered with something similar. So say that he has a tendency for developing this since his father has also had similar episodes. But don't worry about it. Just make sure that you don't wake him up during the course of this event. Try to follow a schedule where he could fall asleep at the same time and wake up at the same time, and try to have a calming environment around him. Try to make sure that there are no stimulating activities leading up to his sleep, right? Try not to expose him to TV just before sleep. Yeah. Try to do something calming before bed, like read a book, read a story to him, something like that. So it's only supportive care that you can actually advise him, and tell her that this is something that is a normal part of his development, because that's what your task is at this point. You're actually educating them that you are going to be dealing with this. I know it is kind of difficult, but just try to make Mason as comfortable as he can. Just normalize the situation for them, right? So once you do that, then offer safety netting leaflets, pamphlets, and a follow-up. Because even though you have given some sort of a management, you want to see them back in a few weeks to see, how they're coping with the situation. Because with this new, because you've given a plan and they are going to follow the plan, they may not follow the plan, but whatever they do, you want to visit them again to see, how things are going, how much of the plan is working. Should you make any more modifications to the plan? Should you make any more adjustment to it? Right?
Yeah, so this is something that we tell everyone, all the candidates, is when you hear the 2-minute bell, keep 3 things in mind. That is safety netting, leaflets and pamphlets, and follow-up. So if you haven't done these 3 by the time your 2-minute bell rings, you need to somehow bring these in as soon as you can. All right. So that's because these 3 things carry at least 1 or 1.5 marks each in management, which will like easily net you like almost 2 marks. Even if you don't get the diagnosis right, even if you don't give the treatment correctly, you will still be able to score at least 2 marks if you cover these 3 points. And it's fairly easy to do as well. Only thing, so follow up is what you just need to say, I'll see you in a few weeks. You don't even have to say, exact time as well. And for safety netting, always, like you thought about the worst thing in the data gathering, right? So the same similar thing here. So just safety net them for the worst thing that can happen to them. So just say that, okay, if you notice any, additional changes during the daytime, or if you notice that is getting worse, just come back to us. That's enough. So that's like a very generic statement you can say for everything. If you say all you have to say is that if it's getting worse, please come back to us. That's enough. That's your safety netting. And leaflets and pamphlets. So leaflets and pamphlets, that's very good. You covered that. But make sure you do that for every case as well, because that's a part of the thing where it always carries a mark for management.
All right, and when it comes to interpersonal skills, try to have a little more patient-centered, approach. And a good way of doing that is by asking ICE. Try to understand exactly what the patient is looking for, so that way you'll be able to address those concerns. Yeah. That was today's mock. Thank you so much, Dr. Sajibat, for joining us. Do you have any questions, doubts?
No, not exactly. Thank you very much for your inputs. I'll try and improve on them. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So we are actually conducting these mocks and doing it on our platform, where we have almost around 500 cases which you can go through. We have categorize them, according to how often the stations come in the PLAB 2 exam. So we have a case overview where you can actually see, what the case is, how you ideally approach it, what are the important questions to ask, right? And so that is for data gathering. Management on, what is the diagnosis, how to explain the diagnosis in simple terms, and what are the additional points in the, management that you need to mention. And as always, we always try to add safety netting, follow-up, and leaflets and pamphlets in all our cases. A little bit about interpersonal skills on how, better to communicate this the station or the given diagnosis. And before we started, Dr. Rohit was actually taking you through the consultation guide, which is our, our special made guide where we try to cover all the cases in a span of 8 minutes. So you can see in every 30-second window, there is always something that, you should be doing.
Yeah.
So this is also something that if you have in front of you while conducting the, consultations, or if you practice with it, you try to, get all the cases down to 8 minutes. So one important thing that we tell everybody is try to wrap up as soon as possible. Like try to make sure that your data gathering is 4 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes, and after that move on to management, because you have equal marks for management, and no matter how many questions you end up asking in data gathering, that will not give you any marks in management. So try to get to management fast, because that's something that a lot of students find difficult, because they're asking so many questions and they never really get to management. By the time they do get to management, they can't cover everything, even though they intended to. So do go through this. We have Breaking Bad News, which is a free station. You can access all the cases in that.
So this app is to basically practice with a partner, and so like how the examiner has marked you, your practice partner would be able to mark you like that. We also have a AI patient that you can practice with as well. So if you this is a dashboard where you can see each case has, so these are all the cases that we have divided into various topics, and we also have a bunch of new cases that we are regularly constantly updating as well based on what is coming up. And so if you see a case, there's a AI practice partner that you can practice with if you don't have a practice partner as well, which helps a lot of candidates that we've noticed as well. A lot of people are struggling with finding a practice partner, and yeah, this is something that helps a lot. So yeah, please try it out. There is a free module, Breaking Bad News. Try it out and let us know what you guys think. Thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Very
Thank
much.
you, Ahmed. Thank you, Dr. Urvashi.
Yeah.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
All
Bye.
right, see you next week. Bye-bye.
Please like and subscribe to Turing Med School. Good luck with your preparation.